Alright people, how's it going? Welcome back to another Call of Duty Warzone video here on the channel. Now, a few people have asked me in my last few Warzone videos, what settings and what sensitivity do I use? So today I'm going to go through all of that and show you what I believe is the best settings to use in Warzone Season 4. Getting straight into it, we do have the controller settings. Now, my button layout I do play on tactical. Now, what this means is that the crouch button and the melee button do switch. So you use the RS button or the right stick, you click that in to crouch, go to prone or slide, and then you press B or circle on PlayStation to melee. This is by far the best button layout you can use on Warzone. It makes drop shotting and slide cancelling so much easier compared to the default button settings. As for the stick layout, I just leave that normal. Inverted look, keep that disabled. Now, dead zone is relative to each individual person. What you should do is set your dead zone to 0.00, like so. Put it all the way down to the left, and then go into a game on private match, and just leave your controller and just don't touch it. And then if your controller drifts, it means you have a bit of stick drift and your controller's a bit dodgy. Just keep putting this dead zone up, keep bumping it up all the way until that stick drift stops. Now, what I found worked for me was 0.07. Like I say though, it will be different for each individual player depending on the amount of stick drift on your controller. But yeah, that's what works for me. Sensitivity, we do have 6.6 for both horizontal and vertical. This is just what works for me again. I know some people play on a higher sensitivity, but in Warzone I think it's better to be slower, to be a lot more accurate. A few people play on less than 6, but with the new meta coming into the game with the Vector or the Fennec, mobility and speed is a key factor these days in Warzone. So 6.6 is definitely a nice balance of speed and accuracy. That's what I found anyway. Now, as for the ADS multiplier, this is for the low zoom. So this is for your iron sight guns. This is for your small scopes. You know, we have 0.88 there for the ADS multiplier on the low zoom. As you can see there, it means less than 3.25. So that includes the VLK 3x optic and includes iron sights too. Now, we put this a bit lower than the default setting, which is 1. It just gives us more accuracy when we do aim down the sights, like I was already saying about the regular sensitivity. In Warzone, it's all about sensitivity and hitting those shots, because if you hit your shots first, most of the time your opponent's going to die and you're going to survive. Now, as for the high zoom, so this is 3.25 scopes or higher, so sniper scopes, all of that stuff. We do put this a little bit lower, just down to 0.95. This is what works for me. If you've seen my RAM 7 and HDR video, you'll see that I'm a skeng man with a sniper. So this is what works for me for the ADS multiplier on the high zoom. Yeah, I just love sniping on this game. It's so fun, so satisfying when you get those one-hit downs with the headshots. But yeah, that is what I use there. Now, as for the aim response curve, I do normally keep this on dynamic, but I've been experimenting recently and putting it on standard. I'm probably going to go back to dynamic though. I didn't notice a real difference between that, but yeah, I do keep it on dynamic usually. Like I say, experimenting with standard, but I didn't notice a difference, to be honest. I'm going back to dynamic. Controller vibration I leave enabled. It just adds an extra element to the game when you hear explosions and stuff, and sometimes it can point you in the right direction of where an explosion came from. I know a few people turn vibrations off because it can throw you off in a gunfight. If you feel like vibrations and explosions go off during a gunfight, then it might throw off your aim a bit, but I just leave it enabled. I don't really have that problem myself. Getting into weapons now, we do have standard for the aim assist. There's a new setting that they did add in, which I believe is focusing. Yeah, focusing is a new aim assist that they did add in. I might experiment with this soon and try out this focusing aim assist. I'm sure they did. This is new to Season 4. You can see there it says best for players new to analog aiming. Analog aiming is when you use analog sticks. So this is for non-PC players. This is for console players. Like I say, obviously I'm on controller, as you can see here on the Xbox One. This might be a stronger aim assist for players with controller than standard. So I might have to experiment with that. But for now, I am just using standard, keeping it the same. Weapon mount we leave on ADS and melee. Weapon mount movement we just leave on that. Aim down sight behavior hold, equipment behavior hold. Now, this is the most important feature and setting that you can have in Modern Warfare Warzone, and that is contextual tap as your use/reload behavior. Now, usually this is on tap to reload and tap to use, or tap to use, I believe it is. Contextual tap, however, it means that you just have to tap X to open crates, to pick up guns. It means, though, to reload you have to hold X, but like it says, it's contextual. So if you've got loot around you on the floor and you press X, then you're going to pick up a gun, which is the only downside of contextual tap. So you have to get used to holding X to reload. If you're just out in the open, there's nothing at your feet, and you press X, your gun will reload, because like it says, it's contextual. But if there are things around your feet, you need to hold X to reload, otherwise you will just pick up another weapon or another piece of equipment that is on the floor, which can get annoying. Especially a few times I've had it at the start when I was first getting used to this setting, where I'd drop my heartbeat sensor and pick up, say, a flashbang because I was pressing X to reload instead of holding it, and then I'd end up dropping my tactical equipment and not even notice. But yeah, contextual tap is definitely a game changer in Warzone, and I couldn't see myself playing without it. As for the movement, another very important setting we have on here, slide behavior, we turn from hold to tap. Now what this allows us to do is slide cancel, and I can't stress enough how important slide cancelling is on Warzone. If you go back and watch any of my Warzone videos, you can see how much I do slide cancel and how much it does save me in gunfights where I'm getting shot at from behind and I need to get away from that gunfight into cover. Slide cancelling is just a perfect movement to do on Modern Warfare Warzone. It resets your attack sprint as well, so after you do a slide cancel you can get straight back into attack sprint, and it just increases your movement speed around the map so much more than having slide behavior on hold. Also, move forward we have disabled, automatic sprint disabled, vehicle camera recenter I have it enabled. I don't actually know if this set makes a difference. I don't really get in vehicles much anyway because of the PTSD of getting 4 man in a car and then getting blown up by one C4 and a guy getting an easy squad wipe on us. Parachute auto deploy. Now this setting, if you want to optimize your performance in Warzone, disable this setting, because what it means is that you have to manually open and cut your parachute. It won't automatically do it for you. Now remember, in Warzone you can survive drops of 13 meters or below, so what you should do is pull your parachute at 20 meters before you hit the ground, and then cut it again at 13, and that'll give you the optimum drop into Warzone and give you the fastest drop to the ground, so you can get that gun before anyone else. But what I do keep this enabled because most of the time I do go during games, say in the pre-game lobby, I might go downstairs to get a drink and come back up and the game started and it's booted me out the plane. If I have this disabled, I will just fall out of the plane and just smack the ground and die, and it's an early gulag for me. So I just keep it enabled. But yeah, like I say, if you do want to optimize your performance in Warzone, definitely disable this this setting right here. Getting into the general settings now, you can see I just leave the brightness on normal. I did put it up a bit, but then I just didn't like it going up. I had it on 55, I believe, or 60. I just put it down a bit. I thought the game was a bit too bright. It's still too bright already, especially up by the dam area of the map going towards military base, if people know what I'm talking about. There's like a hill that you've got to go across between dam and military base, and as you're walking up that hill, it's all snowy, so it's all white, and the sun shines directly down onto it, and it's just blinding. It's absolutely blinding. So yeah, we just keep that on 50, because like I say, it's just certain areas of the map which are just too bright already, so I don't need them to be brighter. Film grain we do have on 0. I believe the default setting for this is 1, maybe, or I don't know what the default setting is. In fact, I think it's 0.75 or 25. But yeah, we keep this on 0. It just takes down the detail of the game. Like you can see the two pictures there on the right hand side. One of them is no film grain, one of them is max film grain. You can clearly see which picture it would be easier to see an enemy in. Say an enemy came to the window of that building. On the left hand side, which is 0 film grain, you can easily see them compared to the picture on the right, where it's a bit more blurry and a bit more cinematic. You know, your game will look better if you have film grain on, but I'm strictly going for performance here, and I'm just turning this off completely. Subtitles I do leave enabled. This is just preference really, whether you want words at the bottom of the screen or not. Colorblind type disabled because I'm not colorblind. World motion blur and weapon motion blur keep disabled, because like I was saying with the film grain, this is all about performance. You see in this picture here that if you're running or moving around, spinning around, the world goes blurry around you, then you won't be able to spot enemies as quickly as you can on the left hand side picture, which is when motion blur is disabled, and then there's no blur when you do spin around and move around, so you can't see enemies. Let's say an enemy is coming down the right hand side of that blue building there. On the right hand side picture, you wouldn't be able to see him, or you'd just about see him, but then you might not think it's an enemy because you can't see his body or anything like that because it's so blurry, compared to on the left where you could see the enemy clearly. The same with weapon motion blur. You know, you can see the two pictures there again in comparison. Not so much as the world motion blur, this one, but it's just a preference. I don't like the blur setting. If you want your game to look better, you can put these on because, like I say, it looks more realistic in a sense, but going for performance, you just want to turn these off. Now, some more important settings here in the HUD settings. You do need to have your minimap shape on square rather than round. Like, this will help you so much more. I can't remember the exact measurement, but it gives you something like 20% extra view on the map or something crazy like that, which is a significant amount. You can see the comparisons there, like how much difference there is in the actual size of the map. I don't know why anyone would ever choose to have the map on round. You're just missing out on so much map and so many like red dots that come up on the map when someone's shooting without a suppressor or when you're calling a UAV. Like, it's actually crazy how much more map you get having it on square, and if you have it on round, then you're just an absolute freak. But yeah, minimap rotation we keep enabled. Compass we have on letters. Now, what might be a good shout if all of your squad are working in unison and together, change your compass direction text to numbers. Now, having the letters on is helpful for me. Like, I give call outs for north, south, east and west and northwest, all of that, but without actually looking at the compass at the top, like, say you're just looking at your minimap, people aren't going to know where north, south, east and west are. I'm not being funny, but like, it's, if you do, you are just a freak. But yeah, having it on numbers just means, like, as you can see at the top, it's just numbers all the way around. I think it goes from 1 to 360, so you can just give a number call out similar to Fortnite. You just give a number call out of when you see enemies or targets or certain areas that you want to go. If your whole squad has got the numbers setting on in the compass, it makes communication a lot easier and can definitely help towards that. Now, getting into the audio settings, we do have the audio mix on boost. It's quite confusing, the audio settings here. I have been using boost low, I think, or it might have been boost high. I'm not sure which one. One of these apparently gives you a better ability to hear footsteps. I can't remember which one it is, but I've just gone to regular boost because I couldn't actually really notice a difference, if I'm being honest. And I don't have a headset that's that great anyway. I can still hear footsteps and game sound on it, but like I say, it's not an excellent headset, you know, it's not a very expensive one, so I don't like mess around with these audio settings. I just leave it on what was the standard. You can see there, master volume we put all the way up, music volume we turn down, because in the final circle, the music that does play can throw you off and you might not be able to hear footsteps, so we do this, turn it down all the way if you do want to optimize your performance. But I do actually like hearing the music in the final circle. It's quite like cinematic in a sense, and it gives you like an extra like feeling, extra nervousness in that final circle, if you know what I mean. You can turn dialogue volume down as well if you do want to, but yeah, I just leave them all the way up on 100. Hit marker sound we do have on the classic. I do like that old school Modern Warfare hit marker sound, a bit better than the modernized one. And then as for voice chat, you can see my settings there. I don't think I've touched these from what the defaults were. But yeah, boys, that is going to be it for the video. If you apply these settings right here, you'll guarantee yourselves more wins in Warzone, and that is a promise. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, please hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below any different changes that you use in your settings maybe. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video, boys. Take it easy.